Alright, what's up guys? This is NinjaDeathStrike. Just doing a quick little video because I don't have anything else to upload today and I'm bored, so I got a couple requests for the Seviper Decklist, so I figured I'd just put that up today. I don't care. It's not a really super secret deck or anything, so I don't care about sharing the list, and maybe you guys will have some fun with it. So I said it during the video, but I'll say it again. This is not like a this is just a fun deck, so don't think that it's going to go too far, but if you want to mess around with it, here's the list. So first up we have 4/4 Venonat Venomoth, just because they'll die, and like I said in the video, it's really nice to have 3 on the bench, so just went ahead and maxed out these lines to get that as consistent as possible. Next up, we have 2 Smeargle. This is just to help you boost your stability, especially later in the game if you need to get a supporter and you don't have one. These guys will help you out. And since I wanted to run Skyro for Tornadus, I figured Smeargle was a good addition, so put them in. Next up, we have 2 Tornadus. These are going to be your ideal early attackers. You want to try and start attacking with these guys on turn 1, and then obviously move your energies onto your Survivors so that they can get charged up on your bench. There's no energy acceleration in this deck, so Tornadus is really great for helping you preserve the energy that you do have in play. Seviper only takes 2, but that can be a tall order sometimes because he tends to get knocked out in one hit. So these guys help you keep the energy you have in play. Next up, we have 4 Seviper. They are the main attacker in the deck, so obviously we wanted to max them out. They also tend to get knocked out pretty quickly, so it's good to have a full line of them just so that you can try to keep streaming them pretty reliably. So the first attack here, Poison Buildup, is really not an attack you want to use unless you absolutely have to early game, and even then you probably only want to do it if you're guaranteed not to be taken out next turn. Just remember that using this attack basically does 20 damage to yourself because you're going to take 10 going into their turn and then take 10 more before you can do anything about it. So that's going to knock you down to 70 HP right away. It can be okay the first turn if you absolutely need it, if you know that there's not going to be any turn 1 pressure from them, but other than that, you never really want to use it. You want to rely on Venomoth's ability. So let's go ahead and read that and take a look at this card up close. This is actually why I decided to make the deck. I just think Venomoth has a really cool card art, and I wanted to make a deck with it. So Poison Mothwind. Once during your turn, you may flip a coin. If heads, your opponent's active Pokemon is now poisoned. If tails, your active Pokemon is now poisoned. And the power can't be used if Venomoth is affected by a special condition. Not that that is ever really going to come into play. But yep, you actually want to flip tails here, or ideally a heads and a tails if you can get both. But that works very well in conjunction with Poison Effect, which does 20 damage plus 60 more damage, and remove the special condition poison from Sevipers. So if you can poison yourself and then remove it before you switch turns, you don't take any damage from it. So that's cool. Next up, we have our trainer line, which is actually just pretty standard trainer line for quite a few decks. I think this is actually the exact same trainer line I have in my Eels deck. So for Dual Ball, we don't want to waste time with Collector, so we're just going to go with the Dual Balls right away. Normally you won't miss Collector too much, and this deck really can't afford to slow down to go for the Collector. You could try the Collectors if you wanted to, but I like the Dual Ball here. Next up, 4 Junk Arms. Junk Arm is just an incredibly good card. I think we're all really going to miss it if it gets cycled out of the format, and this just increases the usefulness of every other trainer you have in the deck. So highly recommend you run 4 Junk Arm no matter what other trainers you decide to put in. Then we have Level Ball. This is just to get Superior and Venomoth, and even Venonat if you need it like turn 1. So another really good card for this deck. The only thing you can't search out with this is Tornadus. Everything else you can get right away. Next, We have, come on, okay, it's not going to show us. Just do it manually. Next we have plus power, 2 plus powers. Might seem a little bit odd, but the plus power does serve a couple of purposes. The first one is it allows Tornadus to kill eels if you can get the plus power down. That'll work out that way. And also, if you need to take out Mewtwo EX and with your Seviper and you miss the head split for poison on Mewtwo, a plus power will put Seviper at 90 damage, so you'll be able to do 180, which is enough to take him out without having him poisoned. So that's why we have plus powers. They do tend to come in handy. It also, plus power can put you at 90 to revenge a Zekrom, or to take out an eel with Superior too. So it does help out quite a bit. Next up we have 1 Pokegear, which is pretty standard in all of my decks anyhow. I really like just having it as a one of because it's much more useful in the discard pile than it is in your deck, because you can search with it for Junk Arm when you need it. On top of that, if you have more than 1 Pokegear, you actually normally end up cutting down your actual supporters, and then that reduces the probability of hitting one when you use it. So I think 1 or 2 is better than any more than that, and I like just 1, especially for late game. If you want an N to really disrupt them, you can Junk Arm for Pokegear and hopefully get an N when you need it. Next up is 4 Catcher. Shouldn't need to say anything about this. Best card in the format. So I play 4 of it. And then Super Rod, just because all of your stuff has low HP, it will get knocked out. Sometimes you just need more Sevipers, or you need another Venomoth, and this card can help you get it. Also helps you keep the energy in the deck, since we don't run a whole lot of energy. For supporters, I have 10. If you decide not to run Smeargle, I'd recommend bumping this up, but 10 seem to be pretty good with Smeargle as well. So 4N, because we are anticipating being behind and we might need to come back, so 4N is going to help us do that. 4 Professor Oak, just because it's a really solid draw supporter without the big risk that we have with Juniper. And with so many pieces in this deck that need to be on the field, sometimes Juniper can be a little bit painful to pull off. So we only have 2 Juniper. It's still a really strong card, especially if you just need to dig deep for 1 card you're looking for. But I think 2 is enough for this deck. You can feel free to change the order or the numbering of these cards however you want to fit your play style, but this is what I have. But any combination of the 3. I wouldn't recommend using any other supporters though. These are the best 3 in the game right now. Better off just to stick with them for this deck. 3 Skyr Bridge, again pretty self-explanatory. Lets Smeargle do his job, helps Tornadus out a whole lot, and also makes Catcher a little less of a pain for Seviper, just because he only has 1 retreat now, but mainly it's in here for Smeargle and Tornadus. And then our energy, we have 4 DCE, that's just for Tornadus, and 8 Psychic Energy. You only need 1 Psychic Energy on each Seviper, so 8 was more than enough. Originally I had 14, but I just didn't need that much energy. This deck does pretty well off of 12, so there you go. That's the deck. Feel free to try it out and have some fun with it. And thanks for watching, guys. I'll have another video coming your way shortly. Later.